succeed.
Okay, now I want to move on to Brexit, because this is clearly going to be top of anyone's in tray, whoever becomes the next Prime Minister. So what, briefly, is your plan?
My plan is to, first of all, accept the realities. I totally accept what you've said. This is going to be the number one thing for any new Prime Minister. And what I mean by accepting the reality is that you've got this Parliament with this Speaker. We know the Parliament is divided, and so you have to deal with that as you find it. So I will then turn to the only thing that's got through this Parliament so far, which is this withdrawal agreement with changes to the backstop, a time limit or some kind of proper exit mechanism. And I would take my debate to Ireland, because I think the key is Ireland, and I would work with them, and I would also do something different, because I realise you can't get the same thing to work if you don't change something. So what I would do is I would offer to pay for the new alternative arrangements on the border. It would be in the hundreds of millions. I'd propose to do that because economically it's right and morally it's right.
I just want to stop there. The problem with the Irish situation isn't money, it's peace. I mean, people aren't worried about the thought of a border or any kind of infrastructure in Ireland because it's going to cost too much. They're worried that people are going to get killed over it. I mean, it's the wrong solution, isn't it?
Well, actually, I'm acutely aware of the situation on the border. As Home Secretary, being responsible for security throughout the country, I'm acutely aware of that. And that is something that every single one of us has to take very seriously. And that is why I've done my homework on this. What is needed is everyone agrees. You need even the Irish government agrees. In principle, it agrees that even if the backstop happened, it cannot persist indefinitely, that it will have to be replaced with alternative arrangements. And that means the border has no infrastructure on it. It remains an open border as it is today. Now, the key is, how can that be done? I've got Border Force in my department. They've been doing work on this for months. It can be done. It can be done with existing technology. It can even be done in a couple of years. What you need is both sides to work together.
You're talking about facing up to the realities here. You said before you want to see honest and credible proposals, but I just put to you that many would think these are not credible proposals. Just to look, for example, Karen Wheeler quit this week as boss of the UK Border Delivery Group. She said there's no technology solution which would mean you could not have a hard border. There's no magic solution. If there was, trust me, you would have found it. I mean, many would say you're relying on a unicorn.
Well, I'm not. This isn't. Of course, you don't need a magic solution for this. The solution exists. We've done the homework on this. Border Force doesn't just.
So why, if the solution exists, why hasn't Theresa May pulled it out of her back pocket?
Because I think the key is, I think most people understand you need cooperation on both sides of the border to make it happen. You need both sides to be able to sit down, have some working group, and make this happen.
So why can you do that when she couldn't?
Because I will change the dynamic, and I will do that by offering the money to pay for the border. And let me just say, it is really important that it is justified that we do that, because economically, if that unlocks a deal, we'll have a mini economic boom in this country if we get a deal, and that will pay for that. And also, because we are both committed to peace and the Good Friday Agreement, it's morally right that we do this.
Okay, very quickly, can you guarantee that if you're Prime Minister, will leave the EU by the 31st of October?
What I can guarantee is that the policy of any government that I lead will be to leave on October the 31st. We will do everything in our power to leave on October 31st. And that does mean, for me, of course, I want a deal. I will do everything I can to have a deal. But if I have to choose between no deal and no Brexit, I would pick no deal.